You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got some interesting things involving the Browns this morning. Their quarterback situation and Deion Sanders making some comments about Shedeur Sanders. I did a video the other day. We talked about Deion being down in Tampa Bay seeing Shiloh in training camp. And there's a reason why we have not seen Deion, and health issues aside, we haven't seen Deion, of course, with the Browns, with Shedeur. There's a reason for that. I think it's very mature. It's a good play, a good stance to take by Shedeur Sanders. Although I wouldn't have had a problem if Deion showed up. By the way, I'm glad Deion's coming out the other side. We did a couple of videos on that, me and John together, over on Black and White Sports, and look, that's crazy. I've seen some video about him talking about, some of the things he's dealing with, and it's absolutely crazy that he's going to go out there and coach college football. More power to him. More power to him. I'm glad that it seems like he's come out the other side. So he was on with Michael Irvin talking about Shedeur Sanders, his son.
Talk to me about that excitement watching them in the NFL. I saw you went and visit Shiloh.
Yeah,
down Tampa.
Shedeur told me not to come. Yeah, let's get that out.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, he told me
why you hadn't gone to
he didn't want me to come. He's like, Dad, I may get 3-4 reps at practice. I don't want you seeing that. Like, come on, no, I'm not where I need to be. Let me get where I need to be. And it's so funny because this is his first time, man.
Yeah.
Ever. And he's dealing with it like a pro. Like he ain't mad, he ain't bitter. He's like, I got work to do, but I'm gonna put in this work. One thing, they're gonna have to let me play. Preseason gonna come. And when preseason come, watch me work. I'm like, I already know what you're gonna do. I ain't worried about that. I know. But he didn't want me to come. And Shiloh's told her, obviously, come on down there. Shiloh, he was happy. But Junior been with me every day.
Yeah.
Nice. Every day I've gone through what I've gone through, I've seen his face every day.
I got to tell you, I don't know if I've said this on the channel. I know I have. I've said it on the other channels. Michael Irvin's my favorite wide receiver of all time. I'm a Niners fan. Michael Irvin was my dude. He was a complete and utter playmaking dog out there. Seriously, and I miss him being on NFL Game Day. I actually turned it over to NFL Countdown for 1 week last week because I was like, Game Day is not what it was without Michael Irvin. But it's interesting that he said that, hey, I don't want you to come down here because I may only get 4 reps. Well, I found an article from Zach Jackson, I think it's Zach Jackson, yeah, of The Athletic. And just this last Saturday morning, I mean, some of the things coming out of there, pretty wild. 4-way battle has probably been what most expected in this still early stages. And while it's been ugly at times, that also falls under the category of expected given the division of reps and the small number of chances for any quarterback to get comfortable thus far. We're going to get to this potential trade situation, okay? Because they're already talking. They expect one of these 4 quarterbacks to get dealt. So we'll get to that in a minute. There has been one wrinkle, though. ESPN reported Sunday afternoon that Pickett suffered a hamstring injury in practice Saturday, leaving his availability unclear for a big week ahead. There have been bad snaps, bad passes, drop passes, defenders in the backfield before any quarterback could be ready, and other ugliness that happens in every camp at every level of this beautiful game. In a Saturday morning 7-on-7 drill, guys, I read this and was like, holy shit. Okay, each quarterback got 4 passes. Collectively, they finished 5 of 16. What? 5 of 16. Of the 5 completions, 3 were Shedeur Sanders checkdowns in the final group. Yikes. That's not great. That's not great, folks. It's not. So that brings us over to this. An ESPN Dan Graziano report that kind of confirms what we suspected. This log jam is not going to be, it's not for long. It can't be for long. I know Andrew Berry's talking about 4 quarterbacks, this, that, and the other. I just don't see it. The most unique quarterback battle of training camp could end up with the Cleveland Browns trading one of them before the start of the regular season. I still think it's going to be Pickett. ESPN's Dan Graziano noted that the Browns are, quote, likely to trade one player from the group of Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel prior to week 1. It's been assumed that both Gabriel and Sanders were drafted, that someone was not going to be on the team by the time training camp came to an end. Talks about Barry, talking about 4 quarterbacks could be on the team. I don't buy it because the problem is getting reps when you got 4 quarterbacks. Then you still have, Hannibal Lecter lurking in the darkness named Deshaun Watson that may want to pop up like a nightmare out of nowhere in about October. Their first order of business for Stefanski and the rest of the staff will be figuring out who's going to start. Stefanski said on July 23rd he would, quote, like to make a decision sooner than later. Sanders seemed like the odd man out in the first few days of training camp prior to Pickett's injury. Wow. ESPN noted on Saturday that Colorado standout hadn't received any reps with the first team offense based on his tracking. Wow. Flacco and Gabriel are like the 2 safest bets to remain with the Browns. Yeah, because I feel like there's no point of putting Sanders on the, I can see if I could get him to the practice squad, I'd like to see, I'd like to put him there so he could keep getting work for your team. But if you put him on the practice squad, I assume another team is going to grab him. I guess. I mean, preseason is going to be so interesting because with him being a 5th-round pick, he's going to play a bunch. And if he goes out there and looks like, Joe Milton or somebody like that, goes out there and looks like Brock Purdy when Brock Purdy was a rookie, heads are going to start turning real fast looking at Sanders. That's the problem with Shedeur being a 5th-round pick. I still believe that Jimmy Haslam has probably got Sanders back on this. And my gut feeling is I just don't think they're going to trade either one of the rookies. I still think it's going to be Pickett. Unless Pickett's hurt, then they can't deal him. So maybe they surely wouldn't put Pickett on the practice squad because, somebody's going to grab Kenny Pickett off of there and they'll get nothing out of him. So they can't do that. I still think he gets traded. I mean, why trade Flacco when he knows your offense inside and out? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Man, you realize this is, what's today? Is today Wednesday or Thursday? Oh, it's Tuesday. So 2 days, 2 nights from now, we've got the NFL playing actual football. Hall of Fame game. I think that's grown up by Shedeur just to tell his dad, hey, ain't no point of coming right now. I'm not getting any work. And, hey, that's professional. That is professional. Because a lot of people think, the Deion thing had a lot to do with him dropping, and it did. It was the Deion thing combined with Shedeur and how they approached the draft. That's the only reason he dropped. If he'd have been very humble and this and that and the other, he'd have got probably drafted by the 3rd round. They were put off by a lot of shit that came out of that camp. You know, tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Before we jump in, make sure you go to our merch store, our Make Basketball Great Again shirt, and our newest shirt that just came out. Both shirts are brand new. The American Flag Skull Fever Enforcer shirt. And use promo code CC22 for 20% off.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.